Alright, I think we're good to go. Welcome back, everyone. Monte here, and, well, we're doing something a little different today because happy 26th anniversary to the franchise. And you know the one that we're always here for, the one that we're always speculating on, the one and only. So, here we are. Hey, JViz, welcome aboard. We are getting ready to make this tier list a reality. So yeah, that's what's going on tonight. Actually, this is more of a part one. I guess that's the best way of putting it. Because, quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to be able to go through all this in a single sitting tonight. I'll probably have to split it up into a part one tonight and a part two tomorrow. But yeah, so we're doing this. We're going to basically go through the entire history of Smash Bros. Reveals, and, well, I'm basically just gonna highlight the ones that I think are my, honestly my personal favorite ones out of all of them. So this is a special tier list that I'm putting together for the occasion. With it being 26 years, long history of Smash Bros, been playing it since day one, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go back through and, just throw out my takes on which ones mattered the most to me when they happened. So this is going to be kind of interesting to see how much it varies from other people. Yes, I'm going to be playing the trailers during it too, which that's actually the big reason why I don't think I'm going to be able to do this in one sitting, because, yeah, some of these trailers, I forget how long they are. So, yeah, this is going to take a minute for sure. But it just felt appropriate. I mean, here we are, what, like I said, 26 years since the original Smash Bros. Released, and crazy to think 1999 was that long ago. I remember it like it was almost yesterday, when I was just a wee lad running around with N64 controllers in hand, wanting to play all the cool new games that I can get my hands on, which mostly boiled down to whatever it was my parents got me, but you know how it is. Yeah, I'm kind of debating, because the live stream part of it, I'll be doing that tonight and tomorrow, but I thought it might be worthwhile to, at some point after I get these uploaded, to splice it all together into just one cohesive, edited together video that cuts out any of the fluff and just gets to the point and then goes through the list. So, yeah, see how it goes. There's a few people that are currently in here that who haven't yet popped off as far as, like, letting themselves know that they're here, but I'll give it a moment or two since it had just started. I guess I should... Let me check this a second. Yeah, well, that's the thing that makes Smash Bros. So special. It was literally the playground. It was, I take my favorite toys and I'm playing with them in the sandbox. This was the Nintendo sandbox in this case. That's the crazy thing, too, to look back when it was originally just the Nintendo playground. And what started as the Nintendo playground has become basically a celebration of pretty much the biggest icons of gaming, with one or two exceptions that didn't quite make the cut, unfortunately, due to reasons. And I'll probably be sharing some of my thoughts during that too, so it'll be kind of interesting to see, where opinions of mine line up with other people's. But yeah, this is gonna be a fun tier list, though. I basically got it as like the, yeah. Okay, so to quickly go over it, yeah, top one, technically second top one, but I'll get into that in a second. Top one is just my all-time favorites. These are the ones that I always find myself going back to because they're just that special to me. And then we got, like, well, font's a little small on my display, so I'll bring it up proper so I can see it. So yeah, we got the my favorites, and then near peak, ones that are just really, really good, but they're not so good that I had them basically like clawing at the back of my skull because of how impactful they were. But they are still amazing trailers, good all around. Still really liked them, even if I'm not thinking about them day in and day out like an obsessive fan. Pretty good ones, yeah. Ones that I thought were awesome. Maybe they weren't necessarily my favorite characters, but the presentation and the character that we wound up getting from it, yeah, stuff like that where it's like still pretty good. And then the alright stuff where it's like, yeah, maybe I cared a little bit, but wasn't like jumping up and down over the fact that this character was added. The indifferent is just cool. We have a new character in the game, new moveset, new possibilities, but not really excited about it one way or the other. Just cool to see more characters, so it's in that indifferent camp, basically. Little Mad is like, really, this is the character that I thought would be good to add to the game, take up a slot. doesn't resonate with me. If anything, it's like, ugh. And then, of course, my favorite one, loathe entirely. And there is one character in mind that I'll be putting into that category when the time comes. So it'll be kind of interesting to see which character that's going to be. And if it's going to happen tonight, it might happen tomorrow during part 2. We shall see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, forgot to mention. So that's where the special category comes into play at the very top there. So the red bar, the bonus, basically my favorite fan one. So because there's not so many fan ones, and it's, I for the most part like all of them, just because it is cool to see what the community has done throughout the years since PM. I thought it'd be fun to just order them down from most favorite to least in that tier. And yeah, so I basically scrounged up every single one that I could think of that I remember seeing at one point or another and was just wowed by it. I will also say, just because of that, there is one trailer in that lineup that's obviously not an actual modded character, but the reveal to it still resonated in the sense of, like, it was just that awesome, and it makes me wish that the moveset was legitimate. And that might not be a surprise to certain people either, given the circumstances. So, yeah, this is gonna be interesting to go through all these. Thankfully, I got the setup going where I was able to have music play and then switch over to when I start showing off the trailers as we watch them all again together. But I think I got it all properly organized based on time frames when each one happened. Like the official Smash ones, I got it all ordered. With the exception of Shulk, I almost missed him, so I had to kind of quickly put him right back in there. But everything should be chronological. There's probably some discrepancies, but as far as like going through and watching everything, it'll be pretty much on point with how the reveals played out back in the day too. So yeah, this is going to be exciting. Going to be a lot of stuff to watch over the next hour and a half, which is, yeah, part of the reason why I needed to split it up into a part 2. Some of these trailers run for a decent amount of time. And I might change my mind during it too, just because this is going to be kind of a trip down memory lane. This is 26 years in the making of looking back. Because yeah, we're even counting Melee and Brawl, at least their intros, so to speak, because those were technically what debuted and revealed newcomers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty important. So yeah, I think we should probably get this ball rolling though, because quite frankly, this is gonna take a while. So let's see here. Let's turn that down for the moment. Shift back over here. Oh, but I also thought it'd probably be good to actually start off with how it all began. I might bump these up just a little bit too.
Something's gone wrong in the happy-go-lucky world of Nintendo. Introducing Super
I remember seeing this commercial on TV as a kid.
toe-to-toe in one 4-player star-studded slam fest only on Nintendo.
Poor Pikachu just gets tossed around like a hacky sack. Oh, but yeah, here we go. So yep, this does technically count. The Melee opening. Still hits every single time. But this does count as a reveal too, because yeah, throughout all these characters and you're just taking it all in like, holy cow, this is real. I remember a lot of people thinking Ridley was actually in the game back then because the intro. What do you think? I guess I could bump it up a little higher. Let's bump it up to... Yeah, that should be loud enough at this point. True, although it doesn't really count as, like, newcomer reels. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. Can't do the 64 one just because it isn't technically a newcomer thing, because everything was a newcomer. It was the first game, so everything was on the table at that point. Melee, though... just the music, everything, just hit perfect. And there we go. The original Melee opening, as it were. Ooh. Yeah. I remember seeing this. I guess I can bump the music back on a second, too. I remember seeing this. Well, the advertisements, I should say, is what I saw. But getting the chance to see the opening, because the actual opening that we have in Melee is pretty much this. This was slightly different because this was still during, like, its playtesting phase. But, of course, you know, they show it off at E3 to get everyone excited. But it's cool that the reveal video for Melee was ultimately what wound up being the intro to the game, too. So it really counts in this case. Seeing it for the first time, I remember seeing Melee's opening when I went to see a friend of mine who had a GameCube before I did, and he was telling me, oh, I have the new Smash Bros. And I'm like, there's a new one? And then watching the intro and just being blown away by how good it looked. Like, Melee's intro and in-game just felt so cohesive. It was just, it was breathtaking. And just seeing the fact that you could actually play characters like Bowser, like at that point, unbelievable. Because 64, all you had were just, like, the good guys, the heroes. And here's Melee coming along like, oh, you can play Bowser, you can play bad guys in this game. And I think that was actually, like, one of the first times you could ever play Bowser as himself, as so to speak. Because the only other times was either Mario Kart or the sports games with golf, tennis. But here was a game that actually let you play the King of the Koopas. Fire breathing, shell slamming, just doing all of his boss move type stuff. And just... oh, it was so cool as a kid. Sure, spoiled a little bit years later because he's not very good when it comes to competitive play, but just the wow factor and seeing all those characters that were not playable in 64 and then seeing them for the first time and also wondering who the heck some of them were, like Ice Climbers. No clue who Ice Climbers were back then. I mean, I was just, what? I need this. There's so much more in this game than mine. It looks better. It sounds better. It plays better. It was just better. Yep, that was E3 2001 when they debuted it. It's just cool that they actually did wind up reusing it as the game's opening. Like, it just made perfect sense. If you've already made perfection, why abandon it? Yep, exactly. And then, of course, not counting the reveals, but just Melee trivia of, like, unlocking characters like Mewtwo and Ganondorf, that sort of thing, where it's like, you never got to play Ganondorf until Smash Bros. He was just a boss character, but Smash Bros. Made him real, even if he was just glorified, heavier Captain Falcon. Yeah, the Koopa Claw, where he just grabs you and starts chopping away the whole time. That was actually pretty cool. It's neat what they did with it in later games, but I do kind of miss just that brutality of it in the first one, the more animalistic nature. So, that being said, with the Melee opening / E3 reveal, where am I putting that in my list? Well, I don't think it's any secret. This was perfection at its best. This was one of my all-time favorites ever. So, at the moment, top of my favorites. It's just a shoo-in. So, that was easy. Not too difficult to get that one figured out. Melee was peak. The intro was amazing. All the new characters that were non-existent in the original that were playable in this one, just, yeah, it was peak. So, yeah, that's where it's going at the top there, and I forgot to actually, put the window back on, so yeah, there we go. Yeah, Melee intro, top of its class. The best reveal of all time, for now. So let's see, that means the next one is going to be the Brawl reveal trailer, which pretty much peak in its own right. Here we go. Oh, I remember seeing this for the first time, too. And we'd have been waiting, like, what, 6, 7 years since Melee at this point? It didn't even seem like there was going to be anything new with Smash Bros., but we were proven wrong with this. I would even argue that this reveal was just infinitely cooler than Melee's. In presentation, I should say. Still like Melee's the best, but I can't deny how awesome this was. Especially when they started showing off the newcomers. Oh, the one that broke everything. But man, seeing Meta Knight was so cool. around that time watching like Kirby Right Back at You. Didn't know who Pit was. Never actually played Kid Icarus at that point. And it wasn't, I don't think it was one of the games I had an Animal Crossing's NES lineup, if it was one of them. Oh, and then there was this. Like, Samus is out of the suit! Zero Mission getting repped through Zero Suit Samus was so cool. And then we finally got Wario. It's like, sorry about that. Oh no. Shouldn't have had Taco Bell before I got here. The waft. Wario literally waffed on the entire Newcomer lineup. And the vets. Then this happened. And everyone was just like, huh? I remember at this point, I barely knew what Metal Gear was. I'd only played one of the games and only a little bit, and that was the one where you played Raiden. Not Metal Gear Rising, back before he got augmented. So I was really not sure what was going on here. Like, I remember seeing Snake a few times. But I remember also being like, huh? Who the heck is this? And the snake's out of the box. Oop, I guess I should bump it back a second. There we go. So yeah, honestly, Brawl's trailer was really, really good. Its initial reveal with all the newcomers and everything, it was actually pretty impressive. Oh man, they had to make it difficult. Yeah, the hype for Brawl was insane between that opening. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, getting Wario finally was just such a must. I remember thinking, why isn't he in the game? He's unique enough. He's had a history. I wasn't, like, big on the Wario Land games, but I still liked playing Wario whenever we had the chance to play, like, any of the other games, like Mario Kart, Double Dash, shoot. And, of course, we did actually play a lot of the sports games, mostly on the N64, but, yeah. So, seeing Wario was like, yeah, this just made perfect sense. This was a must. And then the fact that, yeah, they pretty much confirmed third parties are a thing. Like, anyone could be in Smash Bros. It's not just a Nintendo playground anymore. Snake made it that, basically just kicked down the gates and said, alright, it's not just Nintendo's playground anymore. Any game character has a shot. Even though at that point, like, looking back and, like, the hindsight of it, it's like, oh yeah, well, Kojima did also push really hard to have Snake in Smash. So, that might have had something to do with the third-party floodgate. You know, that glass ceiling being shattered. But everything about the trailer itself, though, was pretty hype. Like, seeing Meta Knight playable, and more characters that it was just like, I may not know who you are, but you're here. It's going to make the game more interesting, more characters to play as, more goofing off, more items, more stages. Like, it's good. But where would I put it, though? That's the tricky part. Admittedly, it's actually kind of a crazy thing to think about, but I put it as near peak for me. Me personally. Like, it was a really good trailer, and I remember, being heavily impacted by just how awesome it was. But it also, at the same time, wasn't quite as cool to me as the Melee one. Like, it was still awesome, but I don't think about it as much as I do Melee's reveal opening. Maybe because it was used as the actual opening to the game, so I do think about it way more by comparison, and it had a much bigger impact. Probably because of how young I was at that point, too. Like, I remember going home after playing Melee for the first time and seeing everything and being so jealous of my friend and wanting that one because my Smash Bros. Didn't have any of that cool stuff. And I had that kinda a little bit with Brawl, but I also had a lot of friends playing Brawl at that point too, so it was always a thing of going over to someone's house and playing. It wasn't too difficult to make that happen. We'd be hanging out quite a bit, and the Wii would either get brought along or it would be set up at one of my friends' houses, and we'd all just start playing on that. I still have videos from years ago of us all gathered around, like, my parents' living room TV or their old house that doesn't even exist anymore, and just non-stop Smash Bros. A lot of Final Smashes, a lot of items. So Brawl is definitely still special to me. It is the most special game, just in the sense of like what it's also meant to me in recent years. But the reveal with the newcomers and stuff, it wasn't as awesome as it was for the Melee reveal, to me. Yeah, and then, yeah, getting more first parties, thankfully Brawl did get that covered. We had so many with like Toon Link and Wolf, and we lost Mewtwo and got Lucario, which I always thought that was a but it is what it is, basically. So, I guess we should hop on to the next one, then. So this one actually was on IGN's site all those years ago. I don't know if it was on the Smash Dojo, but this broke the internet in and of itself, too. The rivalry is real. It's actually crazy to think. You put Sonic in, and at that point it's like, oh, yeah, really anyone can be in Smash Bros. And the moveset that is basically just spin dash. The song's pretty hype, though. Music, can't deny, Sonic music is actually pretty intense. So yeah, we got a big old blur, a big old blue blur that got added to Smash. And at that point, oh man, all those old memories came flooding back. Yeah, presentation was right on point, and it was actually pretty cool to see. Like, not really into Sonic myself. The only game that I had growing up was Sonic Heroes. Maybe that had something to do with it too. But I knew of the rivalry. I remember all the playground fights that people used to have about which one was better, Nintendo or Sega. Mario, Sonic. Sonic is way cooler. He's faster than a silly old fat plumber middle-aged man, even though, quite frankly, he wasn't. At least at that iteration, he wasn't so middle-aged. But just the back and forth, the rivalry was real, and Smash Bros. Made it where you could finally duke it out between Mario and Sonic to prove which one was really better. So that much I remember being excited for. I remember a lot of my friends being excited for it too. It's just a bummer that the moveset was just a little too spin dash heavy. I've heard enough cases to prove that the character could have had a little bit more going for his actual kit, but as far as the reveal goes, that was pretty hype. And I remember seeing that video online. IGN had it, and a few other people were posting it back then when YouTube was still in its infancy by comparison today. But as far as where I would put it, that's a tricky part. There's not like a long time attachment to Sonic, like I said, with only one game. But that trailer was pretty good. I can't deny it. There we go, scooch back over there. That seems about right. So yeah, top it pretty good for the moment. Seems like a good spot for it. It was awesome. Even though I'm not a fan, presentation was on point. It was a really big deal for just the rivalry sake of it. So, can't deny those facts. Definitely not. Hey, Cora, welcome aboard. We are moving through the tier list at this point. I'm going through and labeling which Smash reveals were my all-time favorites and kind of explaining why they are, or in this case, for some of them, not as cool as other ones. Like the Sonic one I put in pretty good. Not a big fan of Sonic, only played Sonic Heroes, but the game back then as a kid was fun and had some attachment to the rivalry that was going on in, well, back in my generation. A lot of playground fights used to happen over who was cooler, Mario or Sonic. Which one was better, Nintendo or Sega. So Smash Bros. Made the rivalry real by being able to duke it out after all this time, and it was pretty hype. So I put it as pretty good. Alright, we're jumping into the next one then, and the next one technically is in-game, but people were uploading it too when Brawl came out.
You know who that is?
You're kidding, right? It's Mario.
Let's see, I gotta bump
Mario
this
made
back
his first
here.
appearance in 1981, and since then, he's become a worldwide phenomenon. There's probably not a single person who doesn't know Mario. He's that famous.
Good thing I survived long enough to.
I remember thinking, oh wait, they're speaking English now, not
This
Japanese.
is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, Snake. Now get out there and show him what you're made of. No regrets.
Got it. Kept you waiting, huh?
And there he is, in all of his solid glory. Yeah, this one was actually in Brawl's files, but people were uploading it with, like, you know, either very, very primitive capture cards back in the day, or they were just, you know, going about it and just recording their TV screens with their handheld cameras. I did that a lot back then, so I can't make fun of that. Oop, there we go. Oh yeah, basically highlighting how special it was that, hey, you're not really supposed to be here, but you're in Smash. It's kind of a big deal because, yeah, you're not what anyone would expect. And, ugh. Oh, dang. That's crazy. Ooh, some stuff started falling down. Gravity did its thing. All good, though. It's all sturdy. But beware gravity. Yeah, I never got to see the actual E3 video at that point. Whenever I got to see anything, I was kind of late to the party. Wound up seeing it like weeks after, if anything, or at a friend's house who had a little bit more freedom with, you know, whatever content they could pull up on their computer. I had one friend that pretty much was that way whenever I went to visit. His computer was readily available, so he'd always be showing off like all the cool stuff that he was tracking down online. But not really being into Metal Gear, and especially not back then. Not really getting the chance to. That's something I've been working on in recent years, and I do like Snake way more as a character now than I did back then. But as far as reveals go, top of all right. Just because we already got the big wow factor from his actual reveal when Brawl got revealed. Like, there was way more, you know, oomph behind that compared to, well, a video that was basically in-game that people were sharing around. So, not bad by any means, just given the circumstances, But this is what made Brawl special, too. It kicked down the doors, and anything's now possible. And that's where things start getting really crazy, because during the Smash for 3DS Wii U era, that's when things really started popping off when it came to the hype and the wow factor. They took the whole thing and took it from a 10 up to an 11. So, that's what we're getting into now. We've gotten through Melee and Brawl, and now we're getting through the long list of the Smash Wii U 3DS reveals. Although technically 3DS Wii U, because 3DS came out first, several months. That's also crazy to think about. We got the game while reveals were still going on. Alright, let's hop into this next one here. The initial reveal for Smash 4. As we will always call it, because calling it two separate games was always so confusing. I remember being like, wait, what? Oh no. Animal Crossing, but real in Smash Bros. This really hyped things up. This got me excited. They treated the whole thing like more than just a game. They treated it like a phenomenon. especially with like having all the franchise logos for all the characters, the vets. Yep, and then seeing that, oh, this Smash Bros. Is actually going to be on the handheld? It's going to be on the 3DS? What the heck? Handheld Smash Bros? Yep, started the trend with the reveal, with the invitation letter, too. This got me extra excited. I'm like, alright, 3DS, but what else is happening? Whoa, wait, what's going on here? Why does he look so HD now? Because it is in HD. We got confirmation that it was both a handheld and a console game. And the characters look so good, too. Like, seeing, like, their latest iterations. Like, I would say Smash 4 was definitely the most on point visually with the character designs. For the most part. Oh, and there's the villager reveal. There it is. Oh, man. Yep. Smash Bros. 3DS and Wii U. Oh, that's crazy to think about. And they made sure to let everyone know that, oh yeah, this was a big deal. This was going to be a phenomenal thing, to say the least. And I got to see all this stuff as it was happening, because by that point, I was way more active and was keeping tabs on all the gaming news, picking up copies of games at GameStop and stuff like that, because I'd gotten out of high school and I was way more capable at that point and had a job, was working. So, yeah, felt like I was actually able to, like, spread the wings and really enjoy the hype and be present during it, too. So, yeah, this was a big deal. Smash 4's reveal was actually more exciting to me than Brawl's was. Not as exciting as Melee's. I have it labeled with Villager, of course, because it was also a Villager reveal as a newcomer, and he was technically the only newcomer reveal. Oh, you see, that's kind of frustrating. It's both the reveal to the new game, but it's also revealing the fact that Villager was one of the newcomers. I would say near peak, because I was, and still am, a fan of Animal Crossing too. So I never thought I would actually see a playable villager. I thought with the way Brawl did it, with Smashville, it was just kind of like, well, these aren't the kind of characters you'd see fighting each other. So here, you get at least a stage where they hang out and do their thing. But then here's Smash 4 being like, nope, they are playable. You can actually be a villager. You can gyroid and bowling ball and fireworks and apparently balloon fight up B to your heart's content. So yeah, it's going to go there. Honestly, near peak, but it's going to be at the top of near peak at the moment, because it was pretty cool. And like I said, I am an Animal Crossing fan, so actually seeing a playable villager was just kind of that, no way. Yeah, I'd put so many hours into both the original GameCube game, and then when I started playing on 3DS, so many hours in New Leaf. And then New Horizons, of course, recently. So there is a long-standing history with Animal Crossing, even though I didn't really play Wild World or City Folk. When I was playing the games, I played them quite a bit. But I was still playing the GameCube one, even when I had friends on the DS back then playing those ones instead. I was just having fun unlocking all the all the NES games that you can get your hands on. Tom Nook or Rossetti. We should have gotten at least Tom Nook as, like, the antagonist, the villain playable character for Animal Crossing. Have him smack you around with all the bells that he extorted out of you by being like, oh, sure, you can live here in this town. Oh, wait, you don't have money to afford this house? Too bad. Now, excuse me while I take this bag of bells and smash the crap out of you. That would have been so much fun. Oh boy, here we go. We're on to the next one now. Pause that a second, and here we go. Yep, it's happening. It's real. Also, big shout out to just how amazing these trailers were with just the quality. But as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh no. No, we're going there. We're bringing Mega Man into Smash. all bets are off now. This broke the internet. So many people were just like, yes, Mega Man, Smash Bros. It's perfect. It makes sense. Capcom has had a long history helping Nintendo out with games and having their games on there. It just made perfect sense. And he's got a legacy, even though Capcom kind of has forgotten about him in recent years. And even when Smash 4 was happening, they were kind of forgetting about him, it felt like. But then this happened, and it gave people hope. Oh, that's so cool. These trailers just look so good. And then showcasing, like, all the different abilities that he had. Yeah, this is where they showed that anything was possible. Like, we saw it with the Animal Crossing one, but it just did not have the wow factor that Mega Man's reveal did. This was an occasion. This was a spectacle. Oh, and then they showed off, yep, the Yellow Devil. That one was pretty good. I will probably put that in near peak for me. But I am going to put it below Villager just because, as a character, a newcomer, even though Mega Man was exciting, I'd only played a couple of Mega Man games up to that point, which is still more than Sonic. All things considered, it was still more than Sonic. And I had a strong affinity for at least the Mega Man Legends games out of all of them, because that's what I got growing up. So there was still that, oh yes, Mega Man playable, this is cool. Yeah, they did. They proved that, hey, anyone really can be a Smash Brother. And it just made perfect sense to have Mega Man be that character. And also confirmed to everyone, hey, third parties are still on the table. That wasn't just a one-off thing that Brawl was doing. No. Nah, we're doing it again. And now the sky's the limit. So I will put just behind Villager just because I do have more investment in Animal Crossing than the Mega Man franchise, but it was still pretty hyped to see him actually being one of the new characters added to the roster. It got everyone talking, got me talking. Made me actually want to go back and play some of the Mega Man games I hadn't gotten to. And of course, play more Legends, because I had so much fun with those ones back in the day. Oh boy. We're making a dent. But how many do we got now? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is why I'm doing 2 parts. And part 2, I'm hopefully also start a little earlier tomorrow, so I'm not running as late with this, but oh boy. So yeah. Not bad. Maybe. I was thinking about that, but the favorites is like the full-on admittance, like this was my everything. These are the ones that, like I said, I still think about quite a bit to this day. But the Near Peak is pretty much the next best thing, where they're still really good, and when they are playing, I'm just excited to see them. But they're not ones that I'm actively, like, going back and rewatching. Not to the degree of the ones that I'm putting in my personal favorites. Alright, so let's hop into the next one, though. If I can pull it up, here we go. The Wii Fit Trainer. I remember seeing this and being like, wait, what's going on here? Oh. This was actually hilarious. The fact that you got them doing yoga and apparently not being very good at it. Props to Kirby for just being a ball and feet. But you failed. You failed the exam. I remember just being like, oh, I guess anyone can have a Smash Bros. Moveset at the end of the day. You just got to get really clever with it. And we got the puns with the taglines too. Ways in. This was the start of being clever with the lines. That's true. It just felt like, wow, you gave us a Mega Man. But now we're getting a Wii Fit out of all things? Huh. Alright. Oh, let's see. As far as the placement goes for Wii Fit, I'd have to say this was an indifferent pick. Like, it was funny. Like, the trailer itself was funny. Wii Fit had a good one. But the character itself and the moveset especially, it's just, yeah, just kind of indifferent. Kind of was doing stuff that I was already kind of getting out of Samus as a character. So, yeah, it just doesn't resonate in that same way as anything that I actually was invested in. Not bad by any means. Just, yeah, didn't really care. Just didn't do anything for me, especially since by that point I was not even playing any of the Wii Fit games, so I didn't even have, like, that as an attachment. But it's still hilarious how Nintendo decided to put, you know, a very obvious, like, point on their, on that franchise, and how the Wii was so focused on the casual audience, and how you had people that were using it for exercise and stuff. So it was a nice acknowledgement of that point in Nintendo's history, where everything was casual, and your grandmother was exercising. Not bad, but just indifferent. Didn't do anything for me, but it was cool to see another character. The next one, though. This is where things start to get a little more interesting. By comparison. And this one kind of went under the radar compared to all the other ones, but it was still uploaded to Smash's site, and it was still on their YouTube. There's the song of my childhood when it comes to anything to do with Sonic. He's still a blue blur. He's still going fast. But it was cool to see. Yep. It felt like familiar territory just because we did see it in Brawl, but it was cool to see that they were confirming, hey, we're bringing back the ones that were there before. They're still relevant. You can't pass up on a good guest character. It's just funny to think. Like, yes, he's back. They haven't forgotten the rivalry. Sega hasn't been forgotten. We're not there yet. Although, I already know where I'm going to be putting him when the time comes. But, yeah. So, the interest of... We've kind of already been there, done that. Let's see a second here. Yeah, okay. So, by this point, I think I was more in the alright camp when it came to this Sonic reveal. Although, that's weird. Missing the thumbnail. I will fix that in tomorrow's version. I don't know what happened to it, but it is AWOL. For some reason, it didn't make it on here, even though I had a version of it. So, I'll do it as a placeholder, I guess, until I put the proper one in tomorrow's stream. Whoopsie. So, the second one. I will say, by that point, I was kind of just alright. It was cool to see that he was back, and that you were having more guest characters actually playable, mascots going at it. But, like I said, not super invested in Sonic, but it was cool to see that he was back. So, pretty much an alright. Like, cool. Glad to see the characters have not been forgotten from the last game. But I was wondering, because Brawl was also the first game that cut characters. So I definitely felt that this new one, same thing was probably going to wind up happening one form or another. Like, Brawl did it. This one had certainly no reason not to omit characters. So yeah, I'll put the proper image there tomorrow. But yeah, that one in the alright is the Sonic reveal for Smash 4. Just kind of like, alright, it's fine. It's back. It doesn't really resonate with me. But cool to see at the same time. Okay. So I guess that means it's time for the next one. What do we got? This is when they started doing the splitting of the logo, just to really make it a, like, oh, yep, this is definitely a Smash reveal, no doubts. I remember thinking at first when I saw this, is this a Kirby character? And then I saw Rainbow Road, I'm like, wait, no. There's something trippy about hearing Kirby Air Ride music while seeing Mario Kart happening, and just really affirming that they should just make a Nintendo Kart at this point. It would sell. People would totally buy Nintendo Kart. Oh no, Kirby! Surprise attack coming from beyond. Don't crash into Rainbow Road. There's people driving on it. No! The little puffball. Didn't stand a chance. Oh. Never thought I'd see Kirby skidding on rainbows. And there's the Luma, and that's when it all was starting to make perfect sense. And then everyone else comes showing up like, wait, what's going on? Donkey Kong just starts harassing Kirby. That's an HR violation. And there she is. Rosalina and Luma. And then seeing the moveset and being like, huh, alright, you're doing something creative. This isn't just Princess Peach 2. Yeah. Everyone's favorite Nintendo space waifu. A giant amongst waifus. Yeah, I like that too, where it's like, yeah, Luma can actually take hits depending on placement. There was some very interesting stuff that was going on here. Like I said, it was cool seeing, basically, okay, Mario rep, awesome. And not just a semi-clone to Princess Peach like how Luigi pretty much was to Mario originally. We fit in the background. True. I think that also cemented why I really want a Nintendo Kart. Just seeing that and just how beautiful it looked. Yeah, like, what did they mean? What did the different colors mean? Was it going to be like a Pikmin thing? There was just a lot of, like, what's going on here? But it was cool seeing that, hey, this is not Princess Peach 2.0. This is just brand new Princess with Rosalina's moveset. Very satisfying. I remember thinking like, huh, pretty cool. As far as where I'd put her though, that's the real question. I would say I'd put her in the pretty good camp. Yep, definitely in the pretty good camp. But behind the Sonic reveal, just because Galaxy was the game that I wound up not playing until more recently. So I don't have, like, big memories, you know, growing up with Galaxy back then during the, well, yeah, during the Brawl era, basically. And a lot of people probably felt that gratification, though, when Brawl did not have her because of the timing, and then Smash 4 was like, alright, here she is now. Oop. It's a buzzing. Just 1 second. I better see what's up. Oh yeah, news circling about how Pokemon's got Happy Meals coming to McDonald's, so they're probably going to put the cards in there. Might have to check that out. Yeah, I was mostly chill. Like, it wasn't exciting the way I was hoping it would be, but being, like, I guess the way that I was as someone who was just into Smash, I was just excited to have more characters to play and more reason to be hanging out with my friends, especially when they revealed that 8-player Smash was going to be a thing. I'm like, this many characters, and you can play with 8 people total? It's going to be chaos seeing all these different things happening at once, and of course it was. But, yeah, I was just excited for all the people that I thought, oh, if they have any bit of care for this character, they're probably going to use them, and we're just going to have a really good time. And we had really good times. Smash 4, like, Brawl, a lot of good memories. Smash 4, surprising good memories too. I remember during like those college days basically with my friends and we'd be staying up till like 2 in the morning, just going at it with multiple Smash matches back to back to back, with all the items cranked up to the max too, because we were just laughing and having the time of our lives. So, yeah, seeing her, but well, Wii Fit, and then especially Rosalina, I knew more people would be way more excited for her by comparison. So, no, this was good. Not the greatest thing ever, and it definitely didn't leave a lasting impact, but I still thought it was pretty cool. And I guess that means it's on to the next one. If I can figure out where my cursor went. Uh-oh.